Oh, hello, Marc. I didn't see you there. Good afternoon, or evening, or morning, whatever time it happens to be. I'm Marc, the wayward clarinetist, and I'm going to be talking to you about Hegel's philosophy of history. To start, I'd like to read something from the translator's introduction, which I find really helpful for understanding the entire thing. And it goes a little bit like this. History, for Hegel, is a process of emancipation and enlightenment, with the aim of enabling us to construct a system of society wherein everyone can be regarded as free and autonomous, simply by virtue of being a person, conscious and rational. This goal is not necessarily seen by history's participants. What Hegel calls the cunning of reason can make use of irrational drives in history's players in order to achieve history's rational goal. The major actors on the stage of history, the world historical individuals, that's what he calls them, like Napoleon, like Alexander the Great, anyone who's talked about in like a historical context as having really done something to change the world or just been really significant historically, are not in the least aware that world spirit, which I'll discuss later, is using them for purposes of its own, not theirs. And when history is finished with them, it discards them. So basically, Hegel's idea is that spirit, this kind of force within the world, acts through history to come to a self-knowledge, and in that self-knowledge comes a universal sort of human freedom. And I guess a good thing to start with before I dive right into that is his kind of different kinds of history, because there's a bit of that in Hegel. There's three kinds. There's firstly original history, which is kind of first-hand accounts, like things that you were there to witness. There's reflective history, which is kind of like historians looking back. And then there's philosophic history, which is like trying to see the bigger picture and figure out the why things happened and like how they happened. And the second kind, reflective history, he breaks it down into 4 different little subsections. The first of which is called universal history, and that aims in general at an overview of the entire history of a people or a country or of the world. So it's kind of like the fact-based thing, like the overview, like the so-and-so was born in X year and lived out his life and was from this country, and during this time period such and such events happened. Just very general kind of things. The second type is called pragmatic history. And this one is kind of an interesting idea because it's the kind of history that you have to really look at and understand that things that were historically acceptable or kind of strategies that worked in the past don't necessarily translate into newer eras. So unlike Machiavelli, you can't look at classical examples of military strategy or diplomacy and apply them to a later period. The third type is a critical history, which is presented not history itself, but a history of historical writing and a critical evaluation of historical accounts, together with an inquiry into their truth and trustworthiness. So it's an analysis and a critique of historical writing itself. So actually looking into the way that people wrote and thinking really critically about bias and things like that.